There. Woohoo! Okay. Now, we came to the conclusion last week that we're going to have all the lights on, didn't we? That was the best we could do.
Yeah.
Unless we make it completely dark.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to have a dark day.
Yeah.
Okay. So, under Analyze, so along the top here we've got Analyze. I'm clicking on that, and there's a volumes dashboard showing the cut and the fill. So I'm going to click on that, and you'll see at the moment we have got nothing in there in terms of anything to give us a balance of cut and fill. So what we need to do is come along to this this one here, which looks a bit like a cake with a bit of icing on it, or a sunshine going down behind the mountain, or if you were born when I was in the 60s, it looks like sunshine going down behind a waterbed. No, it doesn't matter. I'm going to click on there. Yeah. You're not allowed to say that. Okay, so I get this box that appears here, and I've got to put a surface in there. So the first thing I do is name the surface something. So I'm going to call it, under description, I'm going to call it, under surface, I'm going to call it volumes.
Yeah. Label things nicely.
Volumes,
Close road.
say proposed road, 1. Seems alright. And then I'm going to come down here, and do I have to do anything there? Not at this stage. I just go okay. Oh, hold on.
Choose your base surface.
The base surface, if I click on that, there's little dots on the side,
Choose your existing.
and I'll go to EG1
Yep.
and okay.
And the comparison surface.
And then
Next one down.
the next one down, the comparison surface, is the corridor.
Yeah. This is why we label things nicely.
So as you can see, I labelled my corridor 20, and I labelled my base surface EG1. So if I'm lucky, I've chosen the right ones, and I can now go OK, and it brings it in, and it says cut 68, fill 262, giving a net fill. You see the green is way too much. So that's not very good.
You need about 20 truckloads of dirt.
Yeah.
That's several hundred or thousand bucks.
So let's see what we can do about that. And so what I'm going to do, can you make that disappear and go back to it, or? Okay. I'll just do it. Yeah, it's got to another screen.
Oh, no, shouldn't have done that. Oh, I hit the wrong minimise. Okay.
Alright,
So how do we unminimise it? Where'd it go?
I can go under,
Just click on the name,
click on what?
on the name of the drawing. This is July 20.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, you just click on that. That one? That one, is it?
Yeah.
Alright, we're back to where? Oh,
Now you open the layout, so just go to model.
yeah, you're in layout now, so you just go to model.
So,
Shrink it and move it to one side.
yeah, it's not playing games. Alright, I'm just, that's closed, is it? Okay, I've got rid of it at the moment. I'm having a look at my model. It's a little bit hard to tell, but this is my ground level. Maybe turn the light, I'll turn the light, yeah. This is my ground line, and this is my design line. Okay, so if we've got an imbalance of fill, that means that we have to drag the actual line down a little bit, because we've got a lot of fill here, and we've got a bit of fill here, we've got very little cut. So
Need more cut.
we need more cut. So I'm going to grab the design line, and I'm just going to move it down a wee bit to about there.
Now you do more logically than what we're doing.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd take it off the hill, but
So personally, what he would do would be to grab that and just drag it down a wee bit off the hill itself. So let's see what that gives us. So we'll go to the volume dashboard and
recalculate, do you?
right click and rebuild. Have we got the right surface?
You did, Richard. Anybody else managing to do this?
I think we've got the wrong surface.
You reckon?
Yep.
But you had corridor 20 in EG.
Yeah, there's two EGs.
Oh.
How can we tell? What if I go
We can remove
remove
it.
surface?
Yeah, redo it.
And how can we tell what that surface is called?
It's EG space 1.
I-rebuild yung corridor ko
EG
na dapat.
space one is on
Ah,
there.
ito.
You can go to the surface and
Oh.
click on it and all that sort of thing.
Saan?
Close
Okay
the
na naman.
opening.
Okay na
Hindi
naman.
mo
Ah,
namalaw.
I'm going to go to the surface here.
Malaw?
Click on it.
Pull up the properties.
Yung red mas madami daw ata
And go to properties.
Mas marami
And-
dapat yung green. Ay, red.
It's EG space 1, so that was actually correct.
Oh, okay.
But let's have another go at
Should be more than-
this. What is it again? Okay, so close my properties. I'm going to go volumes dashboard
Cut.
and
Ah, baka yun yung same
Open up the
problema
page.
din kay ano.
Hindi, isa lang.
and this time I'm going to call it surface
Kailangan pa ng
road, and I've got number 2. This time I'm going to go to my base surface as EG1, and this time I'm going to go to this one and call it corridor and OK.
So you got the same value.
We've got the same value. I'm wondering if we need to rebuild anything here. Oh, here we go. The corridor needs to be rebuilt. So I'm going to right click on the corridor and go rebuild.
Ayun sa corridor pala.
Ah, sa kanila.
And
You need to rebuild these.
now we need to rebuild the surface.
Baka yung isa.
Might as well rebuild them all.
Ano yun, di ba? Corridor dapat ano.
Okay, well, that's
Corridor
improved it.
pala.
And now if we have a look, we've got the green is pretty close to the blue. And I'm down to 39 cubic meters.
Oh, cut.
I'll just do that one more time because some of you might have missed the steps there. I'll delete this, remove this surface and remove that box. So we need to go to Analyze, Volumes Dashboard. We go to the little cake with the sun above it,
Cherry on top.
cherry on top. Click on that. We need to give it a
Cut nga
name,
yung ano.
Three.
number 3
Cut
this
nga yung red.
time.
Dahil mas malaki yung red ko.
Probably
So-
Tapos mas malaki yung cut.
Road, surface,
yung red.
3. And, actually volumes, isn't it? Road volumes 3. And we'll go down the bottom. The base one is going to be exactly what that gentleman said, EG space 1. And the comparison surface will be the corridor and go OK. And it comes in. And now we're going to go to the surface itself. I won't move that out of the road because it's really close. It's still, we need a little bit more cut. I'll take it out of this hillside here.
Is that turn the lights off for a moment. See?
Yeah. It's not, oh, it's moving, no, it's not.
It may be limited with the curve, so you may need to
Yeah.
pull that one down a little bit.
So if I pull this one down a touch, no, that's not wanting to go either.
So you must come further along.
Ayan. Linya.
Surprised that, if you click on that red line, no?
Um,
Ayan.
yeah,
Linya kasi
I'll
dapat
go with this one.
Yung pula. Yung pula. Tapos yung ayan.
Not wanting to go,
We may have got to the limits of the design limits, and it won't let things change. But it may be stuck with it.
Yung linya.
okay.
Yung linya
Um,
talaga ano.
I'm just gonna undo a few paces back to where we were. I think that's done enough. And I've still got these lines here.
Yeah, it's just the
It's just a label, is it? Okay. Alright, I'll try and, maybe take this cut down here a bit.
Mali yan.
No?
Kasi dapat
Not
Sabihin
wanting to
natin.
go anywhere?
Baka sabihin niya, ikaw na naman to.
Yeah.
Huwag mo na.
Huwag galahin.
Okay, naman.
Okay, oh no, it's this one.
Ayan.
Yeah, I'm managing to change that just a wee bit. Okay, so I've changed that.
everything.
So we need to go over here and rebuild the surfaces.
Might do the individual, so, or do the corridor first, something. I think do the corridor first.
Surfaces
Dapat yung corridor.
and
Kasi
we'll do the corridors first like we did last time. We'll go rebuild. We'll do the volume, rebuild. We'll do the surfaces, rebuild. I don't think it matters what order you do these in. When you come up to here
Ayan.
and you go rebuild, we now have 20 balance of fill.
Now, one other thing you need to be aware of is we're not taking into account any compaction or expansion, so we're just using
No,
cut factor and fill factor of 1, and that is quite important to the process. You need to talk to your geotech engineer who would tell you those numbers.
yeah, so you might remember in your civil engineering notes, the geotechnical engineer is the kind of dude that comes along and tells us the compaction factor of some of these materials. In other words, if you can compact it down, your balance will be quite different. So that after you've done your design on Civil 3D, they often do some more numbers to work out what the real balance actually is. But all you can do is get it as close as possible. Alright? So it's, and then in the field, things happen and things are different as well.
But just remember, when you dig soil out of a hole, you end up with a pile bigger than what can go back in the hole. And if you compact the soil in the hole, you need more soil to fill it up.
Yeah, so for those that didn't do their study with me at Unitech, I tell the story of little Johnny, the naughty little Johnny, of course. If anyone's called John here, apologies. He digs his father's back lawn, digs a hole, dad's at work, mum comes out. I'm not going to do anything because you're dad. I'm going to give you a hiding when you get home. Of course, he's not allowed to do that now, but you know, always a smack on the bottom. Little Johnny goes, no, I've got it all sorted. So he puts the dirt in, jumps up and down on it, makes it perfect. He says, Dad will never know, and he turns around and there's a whole lot of dirt left behind him because he hasn't been able to compact it down, right? So that lovely little story has nothing to do with me when I was younger, and he didn't tell me when I got home, because I said I was going to be a civil engineer. No. So at the end of the day, it's like that in earthworks. They have big compactors and everything, and is a compaction factor for everything. And of course, if you take something out of the ground, it's the opposite. It scoops out, and you might scoop out 5 cubic metres, and it ends up 6 cubic metres on the truck. A bit like when you get an ice cream. You know how they take a scoop and put it on, and then they whack it at the end to put all the air, make all the air taken out of it. Yeah. So ice creams and Little Johnny. Okay. All right.
What does this mean to you?
Already you can just see all the students that didn't study with me going, thank God I didn't study with them. Okay. So I think we've explained it enough. The assignment's asking you to balance it as best as possible. It doesn't say to the nearest X metres, but if you take 6 cubic metres as being a truck, I think probably an acceptable amount will be a few truckloads. A not so acceptable amount might be something like 20 or 30 truckloads. You're probably pushing it a bit there with your balance.
I got mine at 2.6 metres first go.
So 2.6 metres is half a truckload. That's pretty good. Yeah.
First go. I mean, you have to adjust it. You drew it perfectly.
Well,
Sam, Roger, checking your hat.
no, I got it. No wife, no message. I got a message telling me there's a job as a hairdresser.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pero ito next semester baka magbigay siya ng test
Looking
na.
for work with trade men.
Oh.
Yeah. Certainly very experienced with hairdressing. Okay, so that explains sort of pretty much what I did there. You grab the line first and then you move some of those IP points around. Okay, I'm now going to do a save on this drawing. So I suggest very strongly in the assignment, once you've done your balance, to save. So I'm going to save now. And not just a save as with a different name, and we'll call it number 2. 3 bar 2. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that for now. And the next step is we're going to put some slope arrows on our main drawing. Alright, so here's our drawing. I've adjusted the values here so that all it shows is the levels, which if you remember back to your civil drawing, that's all they had on them was the spot heights, levels, and the contours, right? You also had contour labels, and you also had obviously notes and text and that pointing at what things were. I suggest that at this point in the assignment, you should already know what scale the site plan is going to be. I'll show you the maths for working out the text heights, and you should really adjust things accordingly. Generally speaking, in layout space, the levels need to be about 2.5 millimetres, but you'll need to multiply that by the scale and work out what it is in model space. And generally, any text on your drawing should be 3.5, and any arrows. Also, your contour labels should be 2.5 as well. I have no idea what this is. This is a practice drawing. I just adjusted it to whatever was 0.3, I think. Whatever sort of looked okay. Okay. Remember that all this is coming into AutoCAD, so if you don't do it at this stage, then you'll have to do it in AutoCAD, which could, I mean, there's 1,000 points there, something like that. So if you have to move them all that way and rotate them and change their text type, might just about drive you nuts. And the layer. Okay. So we're going to put some arrows on here. We do not want them to be the size of the arrow that's hanging around there. That arrow is fine as far as I'm concerned for a civil 3D drawing, but don't bring it through to AutoCAD. If it comes through, delete it, right? So it's massive, it'll take up most of your drawing. You'll need to work out the arrow size. Now this is what I meant by starting the alignment away from the edge of your boundary. You need everything to be the whole start, not just the middle, but the whole edge right through to the daylighting to be on your database. Okay. I would also make sure that my points came through initially, so you can join the paths and the trees and stuff. But if you're clever, you can use your drawing tools in Civil 3D and just do a circle for the trees and join them in Civil 3D, and those lines will come through into AutoCAD as well. By the way, in AutoCAD we're producing a 2D drawing, and I'll show you a command you've never come across before to make it a 2D drawing from a 3D. Do you know that command? No? Hey, you're going to learn something. Good. I knew I'd teach you something. Okay, do you know that command, Dave? Oh, okay. It's flatten, yes. You just ruined my thunder. Yeah. If you type, if you
It's one relationship. If you don't ask, you don't know. Don't want to know, don't ask.
yeah, well, I asked. That's why I'm not married anymore. Okay, so the command is flatten. You select everything and you type flatten, and it makes it all back to 0, which is perfect for doing hatching and all those things in AutoCAD that you want to do, because sometimes hatching, if you click on a 3D point, you're talking about hatching on an angle, or it's all over the place, whereas if it's all one flat thing, you can just go tick, 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 and then just hatch it, okay? So we'll do that at some point tonight. I'll show you that. Oh, back to arrows. Okay, so we're going to, on the existing plan, click on the surface. So I'm clicking on this surface here that I want to put the arrows on. Notice the surface goes under the road, and it doesn't include the actual road itself or the corridor itself. So I've clicked on the surface, and the next thing I'm going to do is come over to the actual surface itself, which is EG. The base, yeah, that's what I'm going to put the arrows on, the base surface. Surface 1. We're going to right click on EG and go edit surface styles. And we're going to pick one here called, where's our arrows?
I remember you've got to go to, you get to the summary.
And
Scroll down,
the summary, and we scroll down and we find our slope arrows. So the slope arrows are at the moment sitting on a range of 8. The range precision is 0.1 and the arrow length is 5. Now if I just show you what that looks like, we're using an ANZ slope arrow, and I go apply and OK. Have they gone on?
No, you have to
The lights on.
you have to go to display and turn it on.
Either it's on no display somewhere, isn't it?
So edit, oh sorry, click on that. edit surface properties, summary,
Go to,
slope arrows, and
go to display on the next tab over.
this one.
Yeah. And then press turn visible on for slope arrows at the bottom.
Sorry, thank you for that.
Hmm.
And apply and OK. No?
Naka-off.
Oh, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, I had no problems with doing this practicing.
Naka-on sa'yo.
I don't have any problems either. And I'm on my computer, so I can't. Surface style, summary.
Yung naka-off sa display. Naka-off yung sa display. Bottom. Yes.
Is that on now visible? Yeah. Which one's the orange
So we
is
can
on?
see?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Apply and OK.
Seeing them?
No. Oh, that's EG1. We got the wrong one. There's EG there. We got the wrong
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, apply and.
Yeah. Oh, thank
So
you.
this is what I wanted to show you.
Thank you.
It looks a little bit like a Fleming headgear that you might see a North American Indian running around and, you know, there's arrows everywhere. Or an archer's, what do you call it? Quiver, yeah. So they're way too big, and that won't get you full marks if you put slope arrows on like that, right?
I'd be taking marks off.
I'd be taking marks off. So what you need to do, sorry I had the wrong surface there, is right click and go edit surface styles, and under summary, I'd start looking for a slope arrow size that was a bit more fitting. So we'll go to 1 and we'll see what that does. Apply and OK. And you'll notice immediately that the arrow is starting to match something close to the text size. See that? So the amount and how many there are can be also changed there as well. To me, there's way too many in here. So you might look at altering different things. Now, you will need them on your final proposed plan. So the least amount you can bring through, the better. I would say this sort of distribution is about what I'm looking for. Can you see those? Not very well. Might just turn the lights. Yep. So it's a little bit hard to see because they're red, but that sort of distribution there of the arrows gives a good idea of which way the water's flowing without an excess, whereas this dominates the drawing completely. That sort of, to me, is almost like a school kid's drawing arrows all over the drawing. Okay? So I will leave that up to your discretion when you're doing your arrows. Okay, so the next thing to do, probably once you've got your arrows right and you've played with the different settings, is to once again do a save as. You might be thinking I'm being a bit crazy, but I don't want to lose all that work. It's the only way you can learn the program, by doing it 100 times, but at the end of the day, no. Now, labelling the contours. In order to do that, we're going to what looks like right-click on the contours, on the EG1 again. In my case, it's EG space 1. Is that right? And we go to the same edit surface styles. Oh,
You're changing your, you have to make a change in your contour interval to 0.1, no, 0.2 and 1 metre, okay?
yeah. So we're going to go to that we're going to go right click on EG1, edit surface styles, and in the same summary, we go to the contour intervals, and you'll notice the contour intervals has a minor of 0.2 and a major of 0.4. I would like to see a major of 1 on your assignment and 0.2 as the minor. I'm going to go apply, and I'm going to go OK. So I've now got my contours as I want them. The next step is to put some labels on them. So to do that, we go up the top to annotate, up the top, and we go to add labels. And if we down arrow here, we have surface as an option, and then add surface labels. So annotate, add labels, add surface labels. Bang. And we get this box. Might expand the box a little bit.
Not sure if you need to or you can.
May not need to.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. And in the box, we're now going to go to, there's the surface, there's the slope. Under the slope, we're going to go to contour multiple.
I mean, you could just use the single one. That means everywhere you click, you'll get a contour label. It depends on what you want to do. So you don't have to do exactly what we're doing. If you've got individual labels, you need to put somewhere special.
So we have the contour major, the contour minor, and the contour minor. I'd like to label the minors.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to label the
Might
minors.
make sure they go to school.
Yeah, well, they're easy. They're the ones with the light on the heads. Okay, so surface. I'm going to need my keyboard here to read the notes. So the problem is that they're not big enough.
Yeah, all you have to do just talk. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I can just do that.
There you go. Cool.
So, you should have the word surface there, contour multiple there, ANZ, and ANZ, and none on the middle one. And that is, if you have none on the middle one, that means you're,
You've got no minor.
no, well, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to keep the minor on, okay?
Yeah, all right.
So let's have a look at editing, first of all, the major here. And I'm going to change the surface elevation and the text type to 0.3 because all our other text types are 0.3. I'm going to go apply and OK. I'm then going to go down to the next one, edit, 0.3 and apply and OK. And then the last one, edit 0.3, oh that already is 0.3. They're all 0.3 now. Anything else we need to change there? I don't think so. So I'm going to go add. I go add, and I have to select the surface, so I'm going to select the surface, and now I'm going to draw a line right the way down through all these contours, all the way to the bottom. Oh no, I can only go to about there. And then my next line is going across here. Next one is going up there, then back down there. Enter. Now I'm going to go add again. Going to click on the surface again. This time I'm going to go from there to there, and then back up to here, and across to there, back up to here, and across all those contours there, and enter. So what have I done? Let's have a look.
I'll turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off. Did you see me drawing that line? The PDF showed it up, and you can see that every point to of a contour is labelled, and every also labelled as every major contour as well. Now the cool thing about that is it breaks the line, puts a label on there, and I just need to do a quick check to make sure that they've all got labels on. And notice I didn't put 2 on anything. When I got down here, I went across here, and then I went back up again from a point over here. And on the other side, I've labelled them as well. So thank you, Dave.
Alright.
I'm going to close that now. And now that I've successfully labelled all my contours, so once again, you need to work out your text type. I just made that 0.3. You may need to make that a bigger text type or a smaller one, depending. Just rolling down now, you can see that that's me drawing the line, and each one of those is the contour appearing. Okay, so time to do another save as.
I've learned something just now, Richard. Thank you.
Oh, you did?
Okay, I found it a lot more difficult, eh?
So you think I was difficult, or?
No, I've done it my way. I've done it a bit more difficult.
Oh, okay. All
Just-
right.
Just remember they've got those options, and that single one is quite useful. If you've got something in the corner you can't get to, just go back, restart the process, choose that single one, and just really click. You'll have a contour value. If you've got the odd one where you need something special.
So I'll be opening your drawing, your Civil 3D drawing, and looking for those contour labels, and I'll list them. And they need to be at a height that is correct, and they need to be on all the contours. If you miss one or two, you know, you might lose half a mark or something like that, but if you've not got them on at all, obviously for the contour mark you get 0.
Is it okay if the same contour has same points but two or three times?
Yeah, you can have it on the same contour a couple of times. 3's getting a bit much. You know.
Go across something.
Oh yeah, well if you have to go across, yeah, 3 would be max. Yeah.
You've got to look at it and just see, well, can someone look at this contour and figure out its value?
Yeah, because sometimes you can follow it around and you know what the line is. Especially if you've got different colours for major and minor. You can follow a green line around or a yellow line or something easily enough. Yeah, and you don't want it to dominate the drawing. It needs to be there, but it doesn't have to dominate your drawing. You get another chance when you do your existing drawing. If you don't want that many there, you know, just take them out and join the lines up. But once again, more work when you can do it very easily in Civil 3D. Yeah. I'm trying to show you all the things you can do in Civil 3D that are pretty cool. That'll save you a lot of work on the AutoCAD side of it. Okay, so the next step is, and the last step really in Civil 3D for this class, is to produce some cross sections. Now, in the real world, if you're a surveyor, you would, and you're told to do a country road, you would probably do every 20 metres you would do cross sections. Now, whether that's setting up on the side of the road if it's too dangerous, or the middle of the road. And our time, when we did country roads in Central Otago, we set up on the middle of the road because there was only sort of one car every day sort of thing. But, I mean, if you were doing roads around Auckland, I think you'd be pretty crazy to set up your instrument in the middle of the road.
Probably use LiDAR now, mounted on the back of the
Yeah, yeah, put LiDAR on the back of your car and drive around. But anyway, whatever you're doing, you would need to probably produce cross sections every 20 metres. I'm going to make you do 10 for the for this tonight, and 10 for the assignment. But I'm just making you aware that you usually don't have to do 10 for a road. Having said that, if there was a big gully or something on the side that needed to be picked up, you'd be asked to do an extra one at that point. Otherwise the volumes wouldn't be right. Imagine driving along as a big mound, huge mound, 5 metres high, but it doesn't fall on a cross section and you just assume it's flat. Well, your volumes are all going to be completely wrong, aren't they? So you would be asked to do one where the mound is. Same with the gully. Also, if there's a boundary or a house or a creek or a tree or a stream or something at a particular point that doesn't fall between the 20 metres is quite a long way. You might find that it's a couple of these classrooms in length. You know, if it doesn't fall, if something falls between it, you should be picking it up on your cross sections. All right. So we're going to do it every 10 metres. The first thing we need to do in this program is to put lines on parallel or at 90 degrees to your road. And we need to say sort of how far those lines should go, which is a bit like how far is a piece of string in some ways. But usually it's about 10 metres past the daylighting. Is that right? No. 5 to 10 metres anyway past the daylighting. And we also will need to pick up the beginning and the end, and it'll give numbers as we progress down the road. So what it'll draw is the cross section with the ground line and the design line. The design line we did last week with the footpath and the grass and the path and all that, and the daylighting at the end. That'll put that on onto your drawing, and it'll have the ground line as well at each cross section, and some of the numbers as well, doesn't it? I think it does as well. We'll soon see. Yeah. So what you might have to do once it goes into AutoCAD is put spread it around a wee bit, like put an even number on each drawing, rather than have 2 there and 25 there. You might like to put 10 on that one and 10 on that one or something. And also bear in mind it needs to be in an order. So with the road, you should start from the bottom left and at 0, and then 10, 20, 30, 40, then back down the bottom of the page, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then onto the next sheet, bottom left, 90, 100, 110, etc. That's how you do it. In the old days, and I'll just get out my walking stick now, yeah, we used to lay it, the cross sections one after the other along the floor, and you could actually drive down the road by standing looking at the cross sections. Nowadays, I believe with extra software, you can actually drive down the road in 3D models using Civil 3D as the base. So, yeah, watch the space. If you're only 30, 25 years of age or whatever, who knows where this is going to go in another 10 or 20 years. You might not even be doing Civil 3D work, you might be just kind of doing it with your finger on the screen. Yeah. Or, in 2011, I went to a production, a 3D production of Autodesk, and they had a house on the screen, and I put on those funny glasses that everybody plays their games with now. Never seen them before, 2011 in Vegas. This guy said, right, he gave me 2 pencils like this. He said, now grab the house and move it over to the side. So on my screen, I picked it up and here it was in 3D. He said, now double click with the pencil and take the windows out. And then he said, take the doors out. Now put a door from the side on there, another window. He said, now pick it up and put it back on the screen. I did that. And I took my glasses off and everything had changed on the screen completely. So over here, I imaginarily played with it and put it back on the monitor. I still haven't seen that software since today. What are we, 13 years later? But at that time I got pretty excited about it. I came back to Unity and told all the students where everything was going to end up in about 5 years' time, but didn't change, still kept on teaching civil drawing.
That one's being used by an inspector in Australia.
Is it?
Yeah, he uses them. He makes videos basically, but he uses them. So he's walking around the road, and he's wearing those glasses, and he just looks at the board, and he's like, "Oh, here's where I left my notes." He just picks them up, and he takes them around.
I know in Revit you guys will be doing that in a few weeks' time, but I know in Revit that there's a software the bosses walk around the building and they leave little notes all over the place. You know, move that, don't like this window size, change that door.
Wrong colour.
Yeah, wrong colour, wrong beam. And then they get into work the next day and they're walking through finding all the notes that the big bosses have left on the model. And then they have to go in there and work on it. Yeah. So, okay. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You want to, are you a teacher or?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Of Revit?
No.
Oh, it's Steve.
Oh,
It's Steve from construction.
Steve from construction.
Yes.
Are you going to do the Revit side of it?
No?
No, he's just here to learn Civil 3D.
Are you here to learn Civil 3D?
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you what you spoke.
Oh,
Carry on.
that's a bit of a shame, because we're in our last week of the,
He's smart.
It's okay. I can always come back.
yeah. Okay, Steve, the notes on Revit are a step-by-step guide.
Of Civil 3D.
Yeah, to start it off, you've got to start by opening Civil 3D.
Yep.
Then close it.
Okay.
Then open ANZ.
No, no, he's got it on his laptop.
Oh, if you've already got a new laptop,
Yeah,
that's
he's
fine.
fine. He's fine.
So, yeah, you need the screenshots with circles on what buttons to press and everything.
Cool.
We're just at the very tail end of
That's all right.
finishing the road off.
That's all
Right. Sorry, I didn't know you were coming. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Apologies, I got one.
That's all right.
Hold and too many other things. All of them are telling you.
Okay, so we're now at the stage of producing cross sections. So the notes itself say that the first thing we need to do is do the lines. So under the home button, up the left, so back to where we normally are, you'll have a look and you'll see something called sample lines. You see that? If we click on that, it then is asking us to select an alignment. So the alignment is the middle button, or the middle line. That I'm going to the arrow here. So I'm going to click on that, and we get 2 boxes appear. The first box looks like this. The second box is a dialog box in the top left-hand corner. Okay, so the one that we're going to play with first up is going to be this box here, and just getting to the right place on the notes. Okay, so we need to name the cross section or the sample lines, the sample lines. So I'm going to call it pretty simply sample lines 1. Okay. By the way, Steve, when you name each step, make sure you write it down, because I've left with a situation where I've been practicing this at home, and I've gone, sample line 1, sample line 2, sample line 3, and you've got to kind of combine them all at the end, and I've forgotten which one I've actually, you know what I mean? So if you write down them as you call them, make them a logical name, you won't forget. I'm letting the students call them whatever they want, but in the assignment it needs to be a logical name, not just a default name. So I'll sample line 1, ANZ chainage, and we basically go OK to that. We can see the EG1. Do I take that out, Dave? I think I do, don't I? Take out EG1 and just have EG1 and corridor 20.
You don't want the one, you don't want that dodgy one.
No. And what about this corridor here? That was the one we used, I think.
No idea what is this.
Yep. That was the one I used there, that one.
But make sure you only got the ones on you are using.
Yep. It's corridor 21.
Oh,
Yung isang bikin
I think that's the one. I'm going to go OK to that. Oh no,
that's the right one, that one here, the bottom one's the right one, isn't it?
yeah, that's the ANZ one. So I'm going to go OK to that. So in my case, I've got multiple ground lines and multiple corridors, because I've been practicing at home on this computer, and I didn't think I'd have to use my computer. I was going to do it here. It didn't happen. So in your case, you've probably just got the one of each. I'm going to go OK to that. And at this point, we're kind of going down the road, and we've got a whole pile of baselines. What we need to do is select down arrow on this here, which is this point here, and go by range of stations. So we could have actually put the lines on manually by clicking at different places along the line. That's what I was doing. That's what that was doing before. But I want to actually stipulate every 10 meters. So I go by range of stations. And down here I change the 10 meters, the 5 meters to 10, and the 20 increment to 10. So I've now got everything at 10 meters, like I said before. In the assignment, I think it's also 10. If it's not, change it accordingly to what I asked for. So I'm going to go OK to that. And guess what? All the lines have been put into place. Now I can go escape out of this. Come on, stay there. Yep. And just go escape out of that. Now see the yellow lines? Can you
Just turn the lights off.
just turn the lights off for a second? Notice there is now yellow lines around. Okay, so there where my cross sections are going to be. There looks like to be about 10 or 15 of them. So it's now a case of producing those. But at the moment, I don't want to have to do that again. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and this time number 5.
Lights coming back on.
Yep. All right.
Depends how much you need to pay me to switch the lights on and off for you.
I don't know. Sometimes when I go in your office and ask you a question, the lights completely turned off.
I'm not there.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you can see now we're going into the production of the sections. So under the home tab, once again, go to, we go to the sections, which is here, down arrow, create multiple views. Alright, and we get this dialog box here. And do we?
Do we?
Yes, we do.
So,
Just my one's stretched,
Yeah.
so that's looking a bit more like the one that we should.
Cool.
Okay, so
Next over.
alignment 1, yeah, that's fine. So select the alignment, so we go to the green box, is that right?
Yeah.
It's already alignment.
Yeah, it's already.
It's already scanned it, yeah, correct, thank you for that. Section view name, I guess we could call it section view 1.
Why not?
Section view 1, maybe.
You probably need to call it your road name actually.
Sample lines 1, that's already selected that because that's what I called it. And down here we go next, and we're looking at it. This is what it's going to do. It's going to produce a civil 3D title block or sheet layout over the top like that. And we need to double click on the blue dot, the dots on the side up here, and it'll give us some ANZ options. This is why it's so critical to load the ANZ. Now, in this case, I want my sections to be 1 to 200 at A1. So 1 to 200 at A1. Going to go OK to that. And I think we're just about there, Dave. I'm now going to go create section view. Oh, sorry, there's. Oh, yeah, no. That's.
Hindi yan ISO. ANZ yun.
Yep.
And there's a template you need to choose.
Oh, we needed to choose a template back under general.
Under.
Oh, under that.
That one, section placement, so template.
Where's the template? Oh, here. Sorry.
Yeah.
This here, pull down box.
No, that one.
Create new.
Add to that. Click, and that one. See the
Three
little
dots,
arrow
yeah.
to the side there? That one.
Right.
Very much choose there. Section sheet. Okay.
So under this one here, you have a choice of A1 landscape, standard, or ANZ sections. I'm going to go ANZ section sheet, unless there's other options which is
200 sa kanya. Ito.
create new.
Oh, we don't want to create new. Want this at home?
I have done that at home, and
Did you have this option or?
I think it was under the,
So you go to production,
oh, there it is, up there.
that's your scale. You run the scale.
There it is there.
Well, down there, let's get that one.
Yeah, so there's a button missing here, everybody. It's this circle here,
Where?
there. So
Oh, okay.
there's a circle missing,
Yeah, three
there's
little.
3 dots.
Yeah, hit that, and it pops up the
If
template.
you hit the 3 dots, it pops up the template, and you should have 2024 section sheet,
ANZ.
ANZ.
So it's already pre-selected.
It's pre-selected, just go open on that, and then go 1 to 200, and go OK. It was actually in there already, and that's it down the bottom there. And now we go create section views. I think so.
Hang on, oh, okay.
Right,
Okay, alright, that's when you.
and now I'm going to put it somewhere in the drawing. So I'm going to click down, over here maybe.
Yeah.
Make sure you click well clear of everything, and voila.
Click to the right hand side, otherwise it'll override everything else.
So as you can see, it does give you some data. So that's pretty cool. But guess what, Dave? It's not giving us
Ano kasi cross section?
this.
Same cock up as before.
So how do you do that? You click on it.
Remember how to do it? Yeah, well, have you scrolled through the notes? Does it tell
It
us?
doesn't tell us on the notes. I just noticed it then.
Oh.
Sure. Yeah.
Section.
Grabe
Tingnan
ito
mo
ano
muna.
to sa ano, road section.
Time to do a
Sa
save
project
as.
sa ano.
Yeah.
Grabe.
So
Hirap pa naman din to.
it was under points, wasn't it? I can go back to week 1 notes.
Section view properties.
Section review tapos sa ban. Splitan mo yung section review.
Select mo lahat. Pwede.
Ayun o, meron na difference.
Have you always done that and got
Oh,
proper results?
here's the offsets down here.
Yeah, offset.
So it's the difference between those two.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's.
Data source na.
Hindi na.
Saan? Data source.
Hindi na.
Okay, yeah, well, of course, we're starting at the same point, so there won't be any difference. Look at a different one. Same point.
Ikaw lang sa
What you see, you see new data? Little difference. Why is there no
ito.
little
Yan.
difference?
Tapos apply. Okay. Ah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's,
Those levels.
that's the offset.
Pero lahat,
Just
hindi.
little difference.
Isa lang nag baka select lahat.
I don't.
Tama.
No.
Select lahat.
Oh, no, okay.
That's your existing level.
Yeah.
That's your proposed level. The
Number mo
offset
ito. Ano? Lahat?
is the difference.
Oh, I need it, because that's
Di ba
only.
sa bands? Bands mo kasi
No.
mga
It's
Pero bakit dalawa lang? Pero bakit ito lang?
Different.
Ah, baka equal. Ito lang yung cut and fill.
Oh, okay.
so that's the offset that way.
Yeah, different.
So it hasn't
Hindi ko alam ano
calculated
yung cut and
the
fill.
difference
Yeah,
between the
but
top and the
if
bottom.
you look here, we've got the same data for both.
Ewan ko. Ito lang.
Right.
So, there must have been something wrong when we were designating the two things. Has anybody had this work properly for them?
For the
difference.
Eh?
difference there,
Level difference?
Yeah,
is it on the bands?
On the what?
bands, yeah, maybe. Okay, well, can you click on that and right click? Right click,
Section view properties and then bands.
section view properties. And then bands, like we did,
Like we did on
Yeah.
week 1.
pain, you've got to do them all.
Section 1.
Section 1.
Yeah, so they're both set for corridor.
So which one will be, section 1 will be the
EG.
EG1, will it?
EG space one, yeah.
Yep.
Now, if you have to change them all, it's going to be really annoying, so I wonder if there's a better way to do this.
No, it's not all of them. You have to go select similar.
Ah, select single.
Okay, so
Match.
that's
Property.
Change,
changed. But
Oh,
yeah, so
oh, select single na yun.
it's got to be an easy way to do this.
let's
Select
click
similar.
on that and right click and go similar. Select similar. Okay,
Hindi.
there we are. Luckily I'm here.
Okay, go edit the properties,
Now we're going to right click and go.
Section view property.
section view properties. And because it's selected everything. Section view properties up here, was it?
Kailangan mo talaga yun.
Ganun mo siya. Select mo lang isa-isa.
Oh.
Ang dami.
Edit section
Ayun.
views.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Ayun.
okay. Hindi, hindi. So select similar. Tapos,
What's
Hindi lahat niya sinimula. Hindi mo ma-right click yan. Ano sa taas?
We shouldn't need to edit it, we should be able to set it up from the beginning correctly.
Edit, repeat. Right.
Should pop up if you do select similar.
Yeah, but we don't want to edit them all separately, there's gotta be a faster way of doing this.
I'm right clicking and going edit similar,
Yeah. But it's not gonna work.
but it's not unless there's something here.
Siguro sa pag-set up. Section.
Property.
Paano mang set up? Hanapin natin. Paano ang set up mo? mag-set up ng section.
Ano yung section? Gawa tayo ng iba dito. Assembly ba yan?
Oo.
Di ba nyo assembly ba?
Alright.
Sample lines.
Thinking we should be able to set these back
Section
earlier
views,
rather than
section
making
views.
edit.
Wait.
Oh, section views.
So, I mean, the grunt way of doing it is just edit every one.
So if I click on one and I right click and go section view properties,
Ay, oo, data
I
bands.
have to
Ito,
go
data bands,
through
data
and
bands,
change
ano.
each one of these to
Yeah,
each
Automatic.
one. It
Ganun.
doesn't take that long, but it's annoying.
it's got to be a better way of doing
Ano
this.
ito?
If someone can figure it out, please do. Or
Here, there.
Ano?
Sorry?
This guy.
Oh, no.
How do you do it?
I don't know. I started again, but I just did it. I did the same thing, but I just did it from here.
Okay.
Just did it from data bands and here.
Oh, yeah. Way back at the beginning, Roger, before we even created them, that's when we should have edited. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we go undo?
Yeah, or go back to your saved version.
Ah,
Kasi
that's-
basis man niya yun.
That's the funny
I
thing.
wanted to demonstrate this.
We should have the
Gawa
saved,
tayo na yun.
the last saved one.
Tingnan natin. Ayun,
3 bar 4.
Pero wala.
You know?
Oh, 3 bar 5.
3 by 5.
Ano buti nakita mo na?
It's in 3 bar 5.
Pwede ba
No,
naman?
no. Is it before that?
Pwede mo
Now that's where we're doing now. That's got your section lines, so just go through the create sheets now.
So we go to sections. No.
We're doing the
Sections, create multiple views.
Okay, is that right? Yep.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah,
Ito gano'n,
and I
Sino
went
mo dito?
alignment 1 and sample lines.
Yep, so go through the whole process.
section.
Yeah,
Ay,
What we did before, choosing the templates and everything.
so
It's all good. And your section placement, is it?
we've got to give it a name though, don't we?
Okay.
saan mo dito?
Section view 100, yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay, so
down here,
whatever the next one is, we'll get all this sorted. So that just do what you did before.
okay, next. Oh, yeah, no, next. And where did you change it?
Ano ito?
Data bands.
Paano? Ay, ito.
Data bands.
Section
This
1.
is where you choose what the surfaces are.
Okay.
Okay.
So surface
Ba't di nagawa sa
1
akin?
is EG1,
Okay.
Hindi na gumana sa akin.
Gumana sa akin.
EG1,
And that's everything. We
So-
probably should have done that back in
Wala.
week 1.
EG1.
Wala yung kwan mo. Wala yung
And we go create section views.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Provided you haven't skipped a step anywhere.
I might have skipped a skip, but
There you go.
now we go over here and place it on the drawing.
Yeah, and now there.
And the level differences are there now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so that edit band is a command we should have used in week 1 or 2 instead of editing the profile. But anyway, cool, we've learned something more, thank you.
Check mo yung basis. Basis mo.
Okay,
Same, isa lang alignment man.
alright, cool. Got that sorted
So,
out.
I just need to point out a couple of things here. It was lucky.
What was lucky?
I mean, that was, yeah,
Not lucky, but good.
good, yeah. So, which slide is it? Number,
Middle one.
Delete.
Wala yung EG1.
Yeah, another one.
Balikan ko na lang sa akin.
all right, so in terms of sticking to AutoCAD standards, the datum is there for you. The proposed levels are there, the existing ground levels. The level difference is going to be your cut or your fill. So you'll have to create two more
Another row of boxes.
rows. Yeah.
Another row.
And the offset down the bottom, if you remember from civil drawing, you start at the centre line, and you go left or you go right. So that's fine the way they are there. You don't have to have the negative numbers in there. That's just indicating left or right. That's what civil, there's a difference between a New Zealand and American. They put to the left negative and to the right positive. In New Zealand, we just have a 0, 0 and whatever the number is as we're building the road. And up the top, there's a box. You don't need that box. I'm absolutely fine with this in terms of your civil 3D handling, alright? As long as the text types, no, just, I'm fine with that as a handle, okay? What I'm not fine is you sort of just putting that in AutoCAD and then producing that as your AutoCAD section, because you all know that when you did those sections for me, you had trees on it, paths on it, anything. So if there's no trees, no paths, nothing like that at that section point, then you just basically need to take out that box and change the level differences to be cut or filled, right? Easy. Where there is a tree, draw it to the right size. And remember, sections are 1 to 1. They're at the exact scale that way and the exact scale that way. So it's easy to draw a tree. I can draw one for you on the board. If it's a path, you'll need to give it a bit of a width. A normal path is between 1 metre and 1.5 metres, so don't make it 20 metres, just, you know, a metre or a metre and a half. And if there's a bit of water there, draw a bit of a pond there if it cuts through the pond, right? I'll give you some examples of most of this. You see it just draws up the road and that, just the outline of it on there. That's cool. I'm fine with that as an AutoCAD drawing where it doesn't actually go through anything. You'll just have to draw on the bits and pieces. It's worth about 7 marks, and most of those mark allocations in AutoCAD will be towards you picking up the trees or picking up and drawing everything correctly in AutoCAD, okay? With the long section, it'll be distorted, so therefore if any trees are on the long section, you'll have to stretch them to the right line, alright? But the good thing is, all the numbers are calculated for you. Same thing, where it says difference, one column will be cut, one will be filled. It looks to me that negative is cut, is that right, Dave?
Well, it should be, but I think we may have reversed in their data
Yeah,
bands.
looks like
Negative might be fill, I think negative's fill actually, just check that
Yeah,
out.
well, this is, if you zoom in, you can see that the road is above the existing ground.
Yes,
So I think we put the data bands the wrong way around.
okay, alright.
If you put the data bands with EG on section 2, it would have done it the right way around.
So we did
It's all
that,
part of the learning
we
process.
did that slightly wrong. At least you're gonna get the numbers and you just,
Yeah. So either repeat the process with the data bands around the right way, or edit the numbers.
in AutoCAD.
Yeah.
Section 1,
So,
section 2, EG.
We now have,
You want the lights on?
yeah, oh, it doesn't really matter, there's, yeah, you can turn the lights on if you want. There's 2 sheets here, and it's pretty much saying what's gonna fit in AutoCAD in terms of the scale that we've asked for. Usually what I would do there, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3, 15, 17, call that 18, probably 9 per sheet would be about right, just to even it out a little bit, 9 and 8, something like that.
Yeah.
And that'll give you a bit more room to put some notes on there like tree, 4 metres high, or path to be removed or something like that, you know, and also a bit more space to put titles and stuff like that. Notice it's got chainage there, that's important for road cross sections. The chainage is a survey term. Kind of weird. It's what surveys use.
Well, what we used to use were survey chains.
Yeah, they used to actually pull chains.
22 yards long.
Yeah, I actually did that in my very first training for surveying many, many years ago. And you had a weight, and it would have a reading of how much pressure you pulled on it.
Yeah. By a certain tension, so you could
And you had to
calculate.
take a reading, so if it's 21 degrees, that meant the metal was slightly, you know,
Sagging.
sagging or the other way around. So you had the temperature, you had the weight you put on it, and it was
Tension.
quite hard to maintain that tension. It was okay to get there, but then holding it was difficult, so you had to kind of take 3 or 4 different readings and average them out. Nowadays they just go, dunk, and you read the start.
They're all used to EDM.
Beep, 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 beep. You guys don't know how lucky you are. Anyway, I used EDM once I did surveying in the field with proper surveyors. Yeah. But anyway, engineers call it distance, and so do architects.
So what
Whereas-
should they call it? Should they change?
I would rather they called it distance.
Okay.
But in AutoCAD you can go find or Control F, and you type in change, and then it says replace with, and you type in distance, and it'll just go and do them all in one
Oh,
take.
we'll do them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, don't just make it distance. It's a more of a engineering term. So what we've got left to do
I thought so.
tonight, which is not much, is we need to export this into AutoCAD, and I'd like to show you the flatten command as well in AutoCAD. And remember, you can do this multiple times. So if you wanted to then go back and just do the point, instead of levels, and the point numbers on, and then bring it into AutoCAD, that would mean that you would be able to join the points up in AutoCAD rather than in Civil 3D. In Civil 3D, if you, it basically is AutoCAD anyway. So if you come up the top here and down arrow right there, and come down to Show Menu Bar,
There's an easier one.
you can see along the top here all of your AutoCAD commands. Are they? No, I got the wrong one, are they? Show hide menu bar. Which one is it? Is it that
You
one?
want the drafting, you want the drafting commands, that is.
No, show.
On the top where it says geolocation, right next to that, there's a white arrow. No, not over there. Under.
The what?
There's a geolocation on the right side.
I can't see with the glasses. You gotta realise we're blind. I can't see with my glasses.
There's a geolocation that's in blue color on the right. Yeah, that one. So next to it is the white arrow.
Over here.
The white arrow, if you not that arrow. Yeah, just click on this a few times. Click on it one more time. One more time. Should pop up.
I think you can also do
Drafting.
drafting and annotation,
Yeah, drafting annotation somewhere, I forget where it is.
and I think you can go show menu bar. That's it. I found it. It is drafting and then show menu bar. I'm sure you were right, but I got there a bit quicker. Oh, you've changed the ribbon. That's all right.
Yeah.
So under drafting and annotation, I've managed to go down the arrow and see these commands here. They're AutoCAD ones, so you can draw. But just bear in mind, if you're drawing in Civil 3D, the points are in 3D. So when you join them up, you're joining up a 3D line. But you can still bring that through to AutoCAD and flatten it. So let's go to the export side of life. Okay. Lastly, we want to obviously save what we've done, and then we want to export. Now, I'm saying at this point it's a good idea to work out the text types, maybe adjust a few according to week 1 notes or week 2 notes. Maybe that's how you want to do it, or maybe you want to do it in AutoCAD and adjust them multiply there using your match, property match, the paintbrush. It's up to you. I'm just giving you that option before you export it, or you can do it afterwards. It depends on how easy you're finding Civil 3D or how hard you're finding it. So what we do is we come up the top here and we go under, by the sea up there, we come down to export and we go across to export civil 3D drawing. Now, you can export DWFs, which will go into AutoCAD as well, and you can export PDFs, which you can put into documents. If you were doing, say, your project at the same time as you're doing this course, you might like to take it out as a PDF and put it straight into project. I know that with project you could be doing a road, you might like to do it on Civil 3D, I don't know. You might be doing some pipe design. I'm going to do export to AutoCAD. It's now asking me, what do you want to call it? I think I'll call it July Practice Week 3, 5. But I could call it anything else. I get, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go export. And then it is changing it into an actual AutoCAD 2 files. That's interesting.
I forget the reason why. One you can ignore.
Yeah, and then go OK.
Yeah, the other, it sends one for the
Now,
model and one for the layout.
What I didn't do was put it somewhere. It's actually gone to desktop. So it'll be on my desktop. I'll leave it at that on desktop, but you might like to put it onto a memory stick or something like that. So what I'm going to do is go to desktop, and here it is, week 3, practice 5. It's that drawing there. But I'm going to now open AutoCAD, so that'll be familiar with you all. And I'll just simply open that up in AutoCAD. So file, open, and it's
Makita niya kagad. Pagtingin niya yung mga kanya.
this one here,
That's the layout.
or is it the model? So it produced a layout and the model. I'm opening up the model. Yeah,
I think you can tell it not to.
and here it is here now. If I was to go view 3D views Southwest isometric, you'll notice that when I zoom in on here, some of this is, especially, it's lagging a bit, so, but the road's not on top, the sections aren't on top, everything's not flattened properly. So some of it's in 3D, some of it's in 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go view, 3D views, top. So we're back to the view that we had before. And I don't think I have to flatten any of this. I just have to flatten, grab that and type the command flatten. Okay, I'm going to type the command flatten down here first. F-L-A-T-T-E-N, enter, and I'll grab everything this time with the green window, enter, and it says remove hidden lines. I'll just go enter to that. I don't actually know what that means, but I've done it, or it's doing it. It's doing the magic roundabout,
Have you saved it, Roger?
and it's done. Still thinking.
Remove hidden lines? No. Remove hidden lines.
There we go.
It worked at home. So view 3. I'm going to go view 3D views and go front,
Can you know?
and it should all be at the one level, and it is. So you can see it's just lines across the screen, and so yeah, it's we're on the same level now. See, So we now have a beautiful flattened, I guess,
Good luck.
plan view ready to go. Now, if you're doing your existing plan, you don't really want anything on there apart from maybe just a centre line of where the alignment's going to go. So you might like to do things a little bit differently for the assignment, whereby you make it so you can't see the alignment, you turn that off, or you turn the section lines off, the visibility of them. Remember those lights that we clicked on before? On the left hand side we turn things visible on and off, and then do the export into AutoCAD. It will save you quite a bit of time in terms of deleting it from AutoCAD. But you'll need those lines on there for the proposed plan. So how you deal with that is up to you. You might like to just bring the centre line forward into CAD and then just put it in the right place. Or you might like to just bring the, when you get up to week 2, the surface, bring that through. Alright? I prefer the idea of turning them on and off and then bringing it through. Remember, if you've got a common point, you can always move something from a common point to another common point. So bring it through and lay it down over the top. I was just thinking anything else I need to do. Right, so next week I'm going to give you the CAD standards, right? That I want you to draw the CAD to. I'll give you some really good examples of road drawings, both the existing site plan and the proposed plan, so you can relate to what you need to produce at the end. And I guess I'll give you the civil drawing notes reduced just for the things you need to look at. Alright, so I've taken the stuff out you don't need to think about. Alright. You got anything to add, Dave?
I don't think so. I think
Yeah, pretty much covered. Those notes I've done, just looking at them, they're not perfect, but you should be able to get through that pretty well on your own from the notes and from that demo. Yeah, the bits where we come into a bit of problems, I hope you've written something down, or the ladies and guys that are filming this, at least we got around it, you'll be able to get around it. The more you practice on the practice one, the better you'll get for doing the assignment. Yeah, if you just go straight to the assignment, you might end up getting yourself in tangles a bit. And my suggestion is to work your way right through the practice again, without my help or without Dave's help, and then have a go at the assignment. You may have to do things slightly different order to get the results.
one thing I think I noticed in week 1 was some people imported the data with the coordinates reversed, so the eastings were in the northern column and the northern's were in the eastern column.
So it should be P,
So-
E,
Yeah, P-N-E-Z-D.
P, N, E, Z, D.
Yeah, just point code. Well, just look at the raw data. You'll see it's point, and then you got the northern, eastern, elevation, or Z, and description. So just make sure it's coming in the correct order.
Yes. So
We failed to do it the wrong way around.
week 1 notes.
So I remember seeing that happen. What else? It's a good to look at the names. I did see that earlier on. I was going to investigate, but I never got around to it. I thought that's what it's for.
So you're talking
And then-
about
Then
Okay, so it's here. It actually says it up the top. What, somewhere.
No, it's at the bottom. Next page.
Bottom, is it?
It's at the bottom. Oh, there it is. P.
It's backwards.
Is it?
PN.
Yeah, P-N. You can't use it, P-N-E-Z. It's not backwards now.
It's not backwards now, but that's what it should be. Looks like sneeze. Sneeze. Sneeze.
Assuming that the data is Northern Eastern First, isn't it? Someone from Perth? Just check
The other
your, the raw data for your assignment. Just verify whether it's Northern or Eastern
Yeah,
First.
it's actually, it might have been a typo by me, but the,
Look at the raw data.
if you look at this, the option is PNEZD. Alright?
Okay.
So, on your notes, just take note of that. Yeah, that's probably why they did it.
Looks
They
like
did it, they didn't.
they're reading the words.
Oh,
Tidak bagus yang just rainbow. Pangit ang rainbow. Kenapa blue? Equal interval. Tubig ka sa mga tayo.
Today, the 8th.
Pwede.
Question number 7.8.24. Alright, so I can actually throw that into Moodle. Well, I don't know what these guys are gonna do, whether they're gonna stay on or. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is. And put the latest one in. So that they can't complain about PE. Just, I altered that and I'll, it's now, it should say, week 1 notes. It should say today's date on it. So it's now, if you've already downloaded the week 1 notes, it might pay to download what I've just put up there. Because it's got that typo in the change. And I made it a wee bit easier for you under your week 1, etc. I've put the topics in case you want to go back and have a look and see, oh yes, that's right, in week 1 we did the boundaries. Just so you're not trying to go all over the place to find something. Alright?
Basically, AutoCAD talaga siya. AutoCAD lang talaga. Pero may extra ano siya. AutoCAD lang talaga siya.
May tool siya specific sa hindi man nagbabago siya.
So, Steve is our wonderful boss, said you're going to have to teach this in another little while,
Yeah, maybe, who knows?
or is you just expanding your knowledge a bit?
Nah, it's still, yeah, expanding.
Just expanding your knowledge a bit.
syllabus
Yeah.
course first year.
We are by no means experts. I was told 3 weeks ago I'm teaching it, and I last touched it in an office situation in 2010, and even then it was very amateurish. I did some pipes, which I'm not even teaching. Dave stepped up, and in 2015 he taught it one semester for 3 or 4 weeks. We shared the subject. I did the CAD side of it, he did the civil CAD. So we're kind of learning on the fly, because 2024 is quite a different, isn't it? There's different, it's similar, but different. So our notes have had, or Dave's notes have been turned a wee bit upside down. That's why some things we can't find. But we got there in the end. And so what we'll do, Dave's going to teach a bit of Civil 3D to MIT, and so he's going to do platforms.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is kind of alternate that a wee bit in the future, so there'll be a road, a platform, and